From our studios at the corner of 8th and Walton in Bentonville, Arkansas, welcome to Saturday Morning Meeting, where we cover Walmart, Sam's Club, and the consumer product companies that are represented on the racks and shelves throughout the country and around the world. I'm Derek Ridenauer, and our focus is on the insights, trends, and best practices to help you as a supplier grow your business with the world's largest retailer. Thank you for joining us. And coming up today, I'll be talking with Cameron Smith of CSA Recruiting about hiring and being hired in Northwest Arkansas. And reviewing this week's headlines with me are Andy Schuch from the Harvest Group and Ken Simpson. But first, the headlines. The appointment of David Cheesewright as CEO of Walmart International has led to speculation on Walmart's plans for the division. Integrated Solutions for Retailers quotes one analyst who describes Cheesewright as a one-man SWAT team, noted for his ability to secure Walmart's goals in a variety of markets. While Walmart appears to be pulling back and regrouping on its India strategy, the company is also planning an aggressive expansion in China over the next few years. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reports that credit card data of over 40 million Target shoppers may have been compromised during the first half of the holiday shopping season. While the security breach does not appear to have affected online shoppers, security journalist Brian Krebs has stated that the incident involves the theft of data from the magnetic strips on customers' credit cards. The Star-Tribune also reports that the Secret Service has confirmed to the Associated Press that it has begun its own investigation into the matter. In a statement, Target states that it has identified and resolved the issue. Walmart's efforts to open small footprint stores on college campuses may meet with some resistance in the Northeast, according to a USA Today report. Some Ivy League students don't want Walmart to come to their campuses, citing concerns about local businesses and culture. These students prefer keeping chains such as Walmart out of their communities. Others note the need for low-cost groceries and school supplies in their neighborhoods. E-commerce sales remain strong this holiday season, while in-store sales appear to be lagging behind. A recent USA Today story noted that with only 9 days left to shop before Christmas, only 44% of consumers say that they have completed their shopping. Continued promotions and discounts appear to be a motivating factor in keeping e-commerce numbers high, while winter storms have kept some customers out of the stores. Walmart and other retailers will be working with the U.S. Department of Commerce to develop policies on the use of facial recognition technology. According to a recent Ad Age article, Walmart does not use the technology at this time, but it is considering its use for security purposes. Other retailers hope to use the technology to help them tailor mobile and digital marketing efforts to customers based on their gender and age, both of which can be determined through facial scanners. Privacy advocates, however, are suspicious of facial recognition technology, prompting calls for greater regulation. Check out Walmart and supplier news as it is reported on walmartnewsnow.com. We're joined now by our panel, Ken Simpson from Clorox and Andy Schuch from the Harvest Group. Welcome, guys. A lot of stories in the headlines. A big one, really good news for, I guess, Walmart, bad news for consumers. Target had a breach, 40 million estimated cards out there that hackers possibly have access to. Ken, what do you see as the repercussions for Target and the kind of rewards for Walmart?
Well, I think actually for all of us, it makes you nervous. I mean, if using your credit card is going to be a problem, so getting online, putting your credit card online, I mean, all that doesn't it make you think, whoa, I'm not so sure about this.
And you know, if you can get an item at Walmart, just like you could get the same type of item at Target, and actually my wife and I are right in the middle of that right now because we're looking at this one item and thinking, now we're going to get it at Target, we're going to get it at Walmart, and you know what? We're probably going to get it at Walmart, which we probably would have been anyway because of course I'm a Walmart shopper, but now I'm feeling even more incentivized to go to Walmart, and I think that's what consumers are going to do that. But you know what's going to do?
But I think you're still going to see consumers who will say, if this can happen to Target, it can happen to Walmart. To Ken's point, I'm going to be very cautious about pulling out, especially a debit card, because once that money's gone, it's very difficult to get back. Credit, much easier. Still some charges, but not nearly as bad.
Just like somebody said here when we were getting ready today, they said, "Oh, I was going to make a purchase at Walmart or at Target last week, and I'm so glad I didn't." So, I mean, it could happen to other retailers too, but it certainly doesn't do Target any good.
No, and I think it hurts. I think it hurts really all retailers because here we are, 5 days away from Christmas. This is the biggest weekend. Almost half the Christmas shopping is actually going to be done this weekend. So I think it makes those consumers a little more hesitant to pull the plastic out when they're in the store.
But do they have a choice? I mean, my kids, they're in their 20s. They don't even have cash. Most of the people that we hang out with, they don't carry. Nobody carries cash anymore, or has checks, or does any of that kind of stuff anymore. I mean, we pretty much all live on this credit card.
A cashless society.
Exactly, and that's what we were becoming even more so. And I mean, I could see, people are going to have to use their cards. now it may they may not want to use their debit card because
Right.
of course, like you said, it's a little harder to get that back. But
Maybe it makes you think about though the precautions you could take, like not having as much money to be accessed in your checking account through your debit card, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And certainly there's going to be some fears with consumers. What do we
Well,
want to-
perhaps, I was going to say one more thing about it. Perhaps, if Walmart wins in this, it's going to help get rid of the inventory and everything else that's in the stores right now that,
They are
that
so
all the
heavy.
suppliers are sitting on and hoping, that the customers are all going to come in this week and buy. And Walmart will win in that way. So.
Absolutely. The next thing I want to talk about, Ivy League schools, article out in USA Today does not look good for Walmart in terms of the Walmart on campus. A lot of the Ivy League students are somewhat snubbing Walmart, I think is one of the words that has been batted around. Your thoughts on that, Andy?
I've been here since '98. So, the culture and what you feel about Walmart, and as I've gotten into Walmart, is so counter to what the media says about Walmart. Mm-hmm. But you got to kind of be around that a little bit to kind of sense that, where the heart is of Walmart and what they're really all about. But, the media has blasted Walmart for so long. I mean, some of the comments in there were just amazing from these.
Well, and the
They're
thing we have to
supposed to be
keep in
smart
mind
kids,
too,
right?
is we're talking about Ivy League schools, which are really at the epicenter of the media universe
Right.
around New York, around Boston. So this goes to reason. Ken?
Yeah, and I think these students mean well. What they said was, we're concerned about the small shops and the small retailers
Right.
that are in this community that Walmart would hurt them. And the reality, in my opinion, is that it's like a lot of people that aren't that familiar with Walmart. You don't really see the good side. They're not weighing the good side, but I think they mean well. I mean, they're concerned about
But the thing
that.
that I got as I read the story is that we're not talking about a 200,000 square foot supercenter going next to Harvard or Yale. We're talking about
Right.
maybe a 2,500 square foot store that's going to be constructed inside an existing
like
building.
the size of a CVS or smaller. I mean,
Yes.
you're right. I mean, it's a very small store, but it has the essentials that students are going to need, like beer cups and things
Absolutely.
like that.
But
That'll
all
be
the
easy
things
for
that
them to
they
get,
need.
right?
Pharmacy on site.
Yep,
And
pharmacy.
I'm basing this on what I see at the University of Arkansas. I've been to that store. But they're exactly what university students need. They're frozen entrees that they can take back to their dorm room and put in a microwave. There's a pharmacy. There's Scantrons, blue books for their tests,
Yeah,
whatever they need.
and to Andy's point, if save money, live better. If they save money, they can buy more beer.
Exactly.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So
Which, by the way, I don't think is available at Walmart on campus.
Well,
but
no.
they could be.
But I'm sure they can. The students
can
can
do it.
probably find.
I'm
Well,
sure
one of the students was talking about in there how they, things that they can't find around town or whatever, they just ordered online, right? So I
Right.
wonder, and it's not like Walmart's gonna be selling TVs out of there and things like that. However,
site to
they'll have
store,
site
they
to store. They would be able to buy things through there and be able to get it, be able to go to the store and pick it up rather than having it delivered somewhere on campus and getting lost or whatever. So I mean, there's a lot of benefits to having a Walmart store that size, especially
Right.
in a campus. And as far as to how it looks, I mean, the one down at the University of Arkansas looks great.
You almost don't know it's there.
No, you really don't. You really
Yeah,
don't.
I don't know what to think about that article really, because so all they did was quote some students in some of these universities.
Yeah.
They're all negative quotes,
Absolutely.
and it's like they're trying to create some interest about this, some controversy. I think.
Well, it is getting us to talk about it. So in that respect, they are
I don't
successful.
think it's like a serious Walmart can't open any more stores near universities.
When you think about it too, with an Ivy League, putting Walmart into some Ivy League places is going to help some of those students learn about Walmart. They've never shopped at a Walmart ever in their
Right.
entire lives, most of them, because they're not in those places. And this gives them an opportunity to start experiencing Walmart, and hopefully it'll bring some talent, some good talent, into Northwest Arkansas, as whether they go through CPG companies or they work for Walmart or Sam's Club.
Right. And he gives some of the companies that are there. I know when I've talked to Teresa Barrera Shaw, one of the things when she was at supplier development is suppliers would call up and they would want to sell to Walmart, but they've never taken a step inside a store. So here's a chance
Right.
for some of those people who are in the Northeast to be able to get into a store. All right, we've got about 90 seconds left, and I wanted to hit on the facial recognition story that came out this week. And I know you have a lot of opinions about that.
Oh.
And obviously with the NSA stuff that has been released recently, a lot of people are going to be a little scared of that. However, if my kid goes missing at Walmart, I'm going to be very thankful that we have facial recognition if it comes out. And Walmart hasn't said they're going to do it yet. So
I think the thing that struck me about this is just how that the world has changed as far as technology and data. And I think the future, there's going to be more and more data. Like I also saw some other retailers are using people's smartphones to track them around the store. Hey, the future, you're going to have a data scientist, not an analyst, to look at all the data that's going to be available. And retailers are going to start tracking the cart going through the store. They check out and how much they spent, what they spent it on, and they're going to be able to identify the age of the person that was shopping, whether it was a couple, whether they had a baby with them. I mean, you go over here to store 100, right when you walk in, there's a camera looking right at you. I don't know that Walmart's using facial recognition, but you know, it makes me wonder.
Andy?
We are moving so fast as a society, aren't we?
Yes.
I mean, it's just kind of scary because you don't know what the future is going to look like, and with all the information that technology can garner and they can put into it, it's really confusing. I think for the consumer and for everyone. And does a store have the right to do that? You know, I don't know.
It's private property.
I know.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. When we come back, we will be joined by Cameron Smith. A lot of people looking to change jobs as the new year begins. He's got some pointers. That's coming up as Saturday Morning Meeting continues.
At Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, we can help your business meetings get out of the box. Way out of the box. With refreshing views of the museum's 120-acre grounds, breathtaking architecture, spacious meeting and presentation venues, and top-notch catering from 11, our award-winning restaurant, not to mention more than 400 works of art by American masters. Your meeting at Crystal Bridges will be anything but in the box. Call us today and let our team of professional event planners arrange your next meeting at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art.
Their business model is suppliers teaching suppliers. So when you come to 8th and Walton, you can count on having very experienced trainers who understand how suppliers work within Walmart, and they take advantage of that and incorporate that into their curriculum.
You know, the biggest challenge of working with Walmart is they really expect everyone on the team to know their language, know their terminology, and know exactly how they do business. So that's where 8th and Walton really comes into play. You know, it's the fastest way to get my team members up to speed.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Meeting, joined now by Cameron Smith, who is the founder of CSA Recruiters. Cameron Smith, an associate recruiter, is actually here in Northwest Arkansas. Cameron, you guys do a whole lot of stuff with Walmart suppliers and Walmart teams. I mean, that's kind of the genesis of your business. With all the politics we've heard about and all the impending doom we hear about job market in 2014, what are you seeing?
Well, to be honest with you, the unemployment rate that you see globally and nationally really has nothing to do with Vendorville, because there's sort of a paradigm shift going on right now with how you do business with Walmart. We're finding that the suppliers these days have to start investing in younger millennial hires, and there's going to be a blending of talents between the people that are doing social media and then the doers on the team that understand the most complicated logistical system in the world and know how to move a widget from manufacturing all the way to the shelves. The millennials, on the other hand, don't understand that. So we're seeing a lot of hiring right in that area.
Now, it's interesting you bring up millennials because for someone who's calling on Walmart, Walmart has kind of changed that paradigm, because historically as a supplier, I need to be a good salesperson. But Walmart changed that because I couldn't come in and wine you and dine, take the buyers out and give them trips or give them gifts. And it became very factual, very numbers based. As millennials enter in, what changes do we see? Because I know millennials were kind of the future, and to your point, as we were talking before, the future's here now.
The future is here now. We used to refer to the future gen or the next gen. Well, by 2015, the millennial generation will represent 75% of the U.S. workforce. So the future is here. What we're seeing is positions like statisticians, data visualization experts, e-commerce, and programmers. These types of positions never existed on a supplier team before, and we're getting calls for those right now. So there's going to be sort of a blending of talents between the veterans and the new techie generation that's coming up.
Now, Walmart continues to struggle with getting some of those millennials as shoppers. Does it help for suppliers to have those millennials in on their teams? Does it help? What's the benefit you see maybe to Walmart by having a younger generation call on them and represent data?
Social media. These young millennials understand social media. They don't just love technology, they live it. And so, you know, we've always had syndicated data where we can find out shopping habits. Now you're able to go out there on social media and find out within seconds from your shopper exactly what they're thinking, what they're buying, and where they're shopping. And so this is the skill set the millennials are bringing in right now, and it's real-time insights.
And what about those people who are not the millennials, that are the older ones? What skill sets should they be honing and working on? Or are they in a good position to try to teach those millennials about those supply chains, about some of the things historically that have been a big deal on a supplier team?
It's a great question. There's going to have to be some mentoring that's going to go on, because these millennials, like I said before, do not understand the complicated logistical system that Walmart has. I mean, it takes many years to understand how to move a widget through from manufacturing to the shelves. So they're going to be doing a lot of mentoring, and they're going to have to embrace this new technology themselves.
And then the millennials have got to step it up and really focus on that manufacturing process and trying to understand that.
Exactly. There'll be a blending of talents, and they're going to be teaching each other. That's what we're seeing right now.
Okay, we're going to take a break real quick, and when we come back, I want to talk with you about, as we're getting to the end of the year, and as you have people who are looking to switch careers or maybe switch companies, as well as some of those college graduates and those millennials that are coming out, some things that they probably need to focus on if they're really interested in getting into the supplier community. So hold that thought. We're going to come back and we'll talk about that. All of that coming up as Saturday Morning Meeting continues with Cameron Smith.
GigWalk is an on-demand mobile workforce that can collect data and do work at retail. Businesses use GigWalk for retail audits, merchandising, and much more. With 350,000 smartphone-enabled workers available on demand, you get unprecedented speed and coverage across the US, Canada, and the UK. And all work is reviewed for quality and accuracy. Visit gigwalk.com to learn more.
Today's show has been sponsored in part by 8th & Walton, the premier destination for Walmart supplier education. Since 2006, 8th & Walton's by suppliers for suppliers approach to education and services has helped thousands of supplier teams grow their business with Walmart. Visit 8thandwalton.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Meeting, continuing our conversation with Cameron Smith of CSA Recruiters. And before we went to break, one thing I wanted to talk about is we're getting near the end of the year. A lot of companies begin to open up their budgets and hire. So if you're on a supplier team now and you're looking at increasing your income or maybe taking on a different role, what are some things that those seasoned or experienced supplier teams or supplier people should think about before they switch?
Good question. When you come to the end of the year, it's just all about transition. People go on diets, people have New Year's resolutions, but in the workforce, bonuses are paid out. Nobody wants to leave a company mid-year and leave bonus on the table. So this is the best time of year for my recruiters to reach out and introduce these candidates to the job market. The best time to look is when you're not looking. You're going to make a careful, calculated decision. You're not going to make a move. And rather than wait till things get really bad and you're desperate and you're going to make a bad move, you're going to interview better. You're going to be interviewing the company as much as they're interviewing you. And you're going to be very, very inquisitive about the career path going forward. You're not just accept something just to move.
And the best way to really grow your income, obviously, is to switch companies because you can get a much higher raise, right? Rather than, I forget how you said.
Yeah, that for years has been a problem when we see a resume that somebody's been with the company 1 year and then another company 1 year and 1 year. We have a hard time selling that to another company. So when we bring them into our office, we go through those transitions. Why did you leave? And if it's very apparent that that person is just bouncing for money, it's a little tough for us to move forward with them. But sometimes that much hopping on a resume, there's some explanations. I mean, we're in a day and time now where companies leave you. And
Right.
there's layoffs and mergers and acquisitions and downsizing. And it's not always the candidate's fault. So we let them explain it, and then we can represent them to a company and explain those transitions so they don't have to on the interview.
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is those college graduates coming out right now who seem to be struggling to find a job. We talked last segment about the millennials. If you're a millennial or you're just now coming out of college and you want to get on a supplier team, because you think about supplier teams and it's a great, easy, cush job. I say that in a joking way, but what are some things that those millennials should do in order to get a job, and should they keep in mind?
Well, the best thing it could have done would have been to do an internship after their junior and senior year. That way they get to test drive exactly what these suppliers do all day, and they'll know going forward if that's truly what they want to do. And you're almost guaranteed a position if you've got a couple of summer internships under your belt. If you wait until you graduate, there's still a way to break into the vendor community. It's just going to be a little bit longer road. The first thing I would recommend is to research exactly what these suppliers do all day, because it's not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. It's about numbers, and you have to not only love numbers, you have to be willing to live numbers. Secondly, probably the most efficient way of doing it is to maybe go to 8th and Walton, who have a foundations class. It's a one-day class. And we send a lot of entry-level people there, and they explain the whole supplier community and how they work with Walmart, and they actually take them out to a store. You come away from that knowing whether you want to proceed with this or not. Then I would suggest probably going to Northwest Arkansas Community College. It's a 3-semester program, but it's worth it. It's a market analyst program, and it's taught by the suppliers. And I think they have almost a 95% higher rate, anybody that's graduating out of that class. That would be the most efficient way of doing it. Now, there's some creative ways of doing it as well. You can, if you know anybody that's on a supplier team, and take for example, there's 400 supplier teams that are one-man shows working out of their home and running Retail Link in their Shamu PJs. They don't have the resources that they really need. Their companies have invested and put them there, but they don't have an office. They need help. So if a college graduate is willing to put in the time and help this person with whatever needs they want or they have, their currency back to them is going to be experience in Retail Link. And once you're able to put the word Retail Link on your resume, when they do keyword searches, your resume is going to come up.
And it doesn't just have to be as a college graduate. It can be those juniors, seniors in college that want to get in and start that process and even spend a couple years with the supplier learning Retail Link and really understanding it.
Yeah, that's the ideal way. I have 2 children that graduated from the University of Arkansas, and they interned their sophomore year, their junior year, and when they graduated, they had multiple offers.
Okay, Cameron, thank you very much. We're out of time for now. And when we come back, we will continue with Saturday Morning Meeting.
Cameron Smith & Associates is suppliers' first choice in recruiting the competitive Walmart supplier job market. We connect qualified candidates to CPG jobs in Northwest Arkansas and across the country. CSA also sources sales and marketing professionals for companies providing advertising, marketing, merchandising, and data management services to suppliers. Contact us today at csarecruiters.com.
Today's show has been sponsored in part by 8th and Walton, the premier destination for Walmart supplier education. 8th and Walton offers a variety of services including new supplier onboarding, scorecard optimization, and analysis and reporting. Visit 8thandwalton.com/services to learn more.
I want to thank Cameron Smith for taking the time to join us today. And as always, we want to thank you for joining us and taking the time to be a part of our show. If you have questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Our email address is saturday@8thandwalton.com. And please join us next week when our featured guest will be Julie James from Hillshire Brands about category management and what it takes to do it well. Join us next Saturday morning.